So I always like to start with this quote, and it says, peace cannot be kept by force. It can only be achieved by understanding. Now, I think we all have kind of tried force, whether we want to acknowledge that or not, but it doesn't work, especially with our children. It really does take getting into that place of understanding. So Einstein was a genius because you can't do it by force. These are kids, especially that have been impacted by trauma, that nothing, you can take away everything from them. You can threaten every consequence and they still won't budge. Now, we're not supposed to compare children, but guess what? We always do. We always compare. That's just how our minds work. So what I always like to give you is to understand, why is your Billy, we'll call your child that's really challenging Billy. Because why is that child so different than the Andys? Why is that child different than your neighbor's child? Why is that child different from your sister's child and your niece and your nephew? And why can't Billy just be Andy? And I'm sure all of us have sort of said that in our minds, not in a negative way, but it's perplexing. This child's now in a beautiful environment, now has everything that they need. Why can't they just behave and be compliant and respectful and all the behavioral words? Just think about it as, oh, my child's really dysregulated. Some of your kids are chronically dysregulated. They just stay in a state of dysregulation. And our job as parents, professionals, whoever that adult is working with that child, the goal is always to acknowledge the dysregulation. Just know they're dysregulated, but then to say, what can we do to move that child into a state of regulation? Because it has everything to do with their brain. When you are dysregulated, you can't think clearly. Does this look familiar? Is this in your child's room? Is this in your child's backpack? Like, they can't organize because the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain that is the executive functioning, the part that can think sequentially and organize and have the ability to put things in proper order, isn't functioning. The home is supposed to be a place of safety. Your home is your sacred ground. And to have a child come in and destroy that safety, it's unnerving. It is totally unnerving. So hang in there. Hopefully we can, the content I'm going to give you more content on the backside of this as well. I don't want this to be a one and done. Think about this, that fear that they have, they're not going to show you the fear, because showing fear is to be vulnerable. Our children have experienced vulnerability at a very young age. And so what's easier is to put up this big wall of anger. And our kids are angry, whether they're the ones shut down, hypo aroused, or the ones exhibiting that in an outward expression, the hyper aroused. It's anger. And you know what? Rightfully so. Of course they're angry. They have every right to be angry. But to see it as armor, all right, what we want to be able to do is de-escalate and be able to peel back that armor. Because yeah, they're protecting themselves, but that's not the way to live life. That's not the way to heal. The other thing is this, when I talk about helping our children and understanding how to parent them, it's not about changing behavior. It's about helping our children heal. Very, very, very different. And again, I want you to put your fear lenses on, because Billy is speaking through fear. Billy is speaking through this lens. And so with a Google Translate here, I'm going to give you the words that Billy says. For example, Billy says, I hate you. So that's trauma. That's trauma speaking, the language of trauma. Now, in English, it's not really I hate you in English. I want you to translate that. What does that mean in English? Well, it means I hate myself. You see? When we can understand what our children are saying, if Billy says to you, I hate you, our automatic reflection is, oh my gosh, I can't handle this. I've heard that 15 times in one day. I'm done. Hey, get this kid out of my house. It's not that Billy hates you. Billy hates the situation. Billy hates himself. Billy hates what's going on. Billy hates that he has no control. And it's much easier to point that at you, to project it onto you, because that is the armor. Your kids have high anxiety. They don't know they're okay. They live on that side of Billy, of the not knowing, the uncertainty. What's going to happen next? I don't know that everything's going to work out for me. I don't know everything is going to work out for me. It is that deeply within their nervous system just says, I don't know I'm going to be okay. I don't know I'm going to be okay. And many of you all as parents, maybe you've been feeling this as well, either now or before, or perpetually. And there was a time in life I didn't know my kids were going to be okay. I didn't know I was going to be okay. And that's a very unnerving feeling. I want you to trust in this process, because love can win. Love can overcome this fear. Absolutely. It just takes a little bit different way of shifting through it.